Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're working.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting tonight. Township of Nipissing Council meeting Tuesday, March 5th, approximately 6:30 p.m. First of all, I'll ask if there's any disclosure of pecuniary interest. Seeing none, I will move on to number 2 on our agenda, which is committee reports, and I'll start with Councillor Yam.
I don't have anything this evening.
Okay, and Councillor Foot.
I have 2. So I have EMS committee, that was a couple of weeks ago. It was a little more of an informational thing. It was kind of interesting. We talked a lot about the community paramedicine program. So they talked a lot about it. It's 100% funded by the province, which has 57 active programs through the province. I learned more on that meeting than I've learned ever. It was awesome. They have 6 dedicated paramedics to it, and they're proactive to kind of prevent patients from getting to the hospital or having more serious problems, whatever that is. Right now, they have 617 patients on the program. 13 of them are palliative and 40 of them are housebound. So these 6 paramedics take care of them for the most part, whether it's home monitoring, blood pressure, glucose, vital signs, alerts, anything like that. And it allows for early intervention of problems, right? So they used a lot of this during COVID to keep people home as opposed to having them into the hospital and getting into that situation. So right now they've had 2,443 home visits, 5,734 telephone wellness checks, 1,158 clinic visits, and 640 flu vaccines. There's also gone out and done 68 housebound care vaccinations for housebound people. So it's kind of cool. The other thing we talked a lot about was the non-emergency line. So they have an EMS line that's non-emergency. They can call and speak directly to the paramedic. Hey, this is a situation I'm having. Do you think I need to? So they'll ask the questions and decide whether they need to send an ambulance out or not to try and save some of those unnecessary calls. And at this point, in the last 5 months, they've taken 133 calls to this line, and 73 of them have resulted in sending an ambulance. So they saved a lot. They saved 60, call ambulance trips out. So this Parry Sound has 90 employees fully, and that's how many they're looking after. So financially, they're in a modest surplus, and they're waiting on the audits. They're waiting to finish the audit. And there's a struggle right now with vehicle equipment. Updating them and then consolidating them, putting them out there, whether it goes to another municipality that might need it. And they're making those decisions about, do we just give it to them because they need it, or do we give it to them at half price? How do we do it? So those are the decisions that are coming up. The problem is it's a year to get an ambulance right now, minimum a year wait, which then means there's more miles or kilometers put on the ambulances and they're worth less. So they're worried about it. Defibrillators are needing to be replaced, all of them. So they're now trying to figure out cost saving measures to do that. So I'm sure that's coming up in the budget. 2023 statistics, they met all of their response times, but their numbers are down. So the number of responses they've had to go to are down. Burks Falls, so we talked a lot about the Burks Falls, the new, trying to integrate the 2 buildings together. They've now decided maybe we don't want to do that because it was going to be millions. They want to maybe keep them where they're at. So they've had people come in and take a look at it. They can possibly stay exactly where they're at for between $350,000 to $400,000. Cost, and so it's a huge savings. They had some of the current staff go in there and say, could you work here for the next 10 years? Is this viable? What we're doing, is it the right thing to do? And they've agreed. And so, which is good. They got buy-in from the team, right? And then drones, they're looking at drones. So apparently, there's a company that's been out and trying to talk to all the mayors in and about, trying to get them to take a look at these drones. So Perry Sound District just said, why don't we have them come in and talk to us? And if we think it's worth it, then the other mayors should go ahead and maybe save some time and some energy. But they're thinking about them for stuff like, railroad derailment, where people can't get in, or it's not safe for firefighting and stuff like that, but it's a lot of money. They never gave us a dollar figure, but I can just imagine the dollar figure that's attached to them, because they were saying they could carry over 300 pounds out on this drone. So if they have to get emergency supplies somewhere, the drone could carry emergency supplies. So they're gonna do the legwork and then come back and hopefully go from there. So any questions on that one? That's probably the best meeting I've had with them. It's been really good.
The other phone number that you can call instead of calling 911, is that open for anybody to get?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah. No, sorry, no. It's only to the people that are part of the paramedicine
okay,
unit,
yeah,
right? So again, they're just trying to alleviate those patients going to ambulance directly to the hospital.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's not an easy program to get on. Like, you have to qualify for it. Yeah.
Did you qualify?
No.
Sounds like. you
Sounds like
would.
I should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's all in my voice, I promise.
okay.
Next one was spaghetti dinner. We had rec committee last night. So, lots going on with rec committee. We did have spaghetti dinner on Saturday night. Thank you to everybody that helped. It was so much fun, and it was nice to see. We had the Voodoos come out and coach come out, and they came out and just kind of hung out with people and said hello to the kids, made some kids very happy. I think they made some adults happy too. Right, so we're thinking approximately $443 came back with it to go back into the programs. So, which was really good. We weren't looking to make a lot from it. We just want to give back to the community and get people together, right? So we had 77. Yeah, I think I'm close, 77 people. So great day. Next coming up, one of the next things coming up is Easter egg hunt. So that's coming up at the end of the month, March 30th. We're working on that. We're just waiting to see what we end up with kids to finalize the programs and know exactly what's going on. But we're looking at like bag decorating again and decorating cookies. We'll have treats and egg decorating and possibly a egg hunt or a scavenger hunt. Then we have teen dance coming up. So we found a DJ for the teen dance, and we have volunteers now for it. So that's even better. So that's coming up next. So that's May 10th, which is really good. Family Day had a great turnout. We had a lot of fun at that. And we're looking at doing a board game night. Or actually, it's gonna turn out to be a card night, I think we've decided on. So euchre or something like that. And that's gonna be May 11th, and it's more directed, I think, to an older crowd on the afternoon. We're thinking, I think euchre, I think that's what we're looking at. Soccer is well on its way. We've got some registrations on the weekend for soccer. We also have been, and the board approved, taking a look at, we've been offered some soccer donations. So it has been approved to go in and talk to them and see what's actually available. So policies, nets and stuff like that. So if we can, that would be fantastic. Let's save some money. Our stand-up classes on Thursday mornings are going to be, or we're looking at possibly extending it.
Actually, it's gonna be another program, Stay on Your Feet, so.
Oh, is it?
It's
Okay.
gonna be starting April 1st,
Okay,
so there'll be more information to come in the next couple days.
awesome.
It is.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And they seem to be getting more and more people, and people are loving it. Next coming up in Commanda, they had their winter market. They had 15 vendors and exhibitors there, but they ended up getting, it was stormed out, right?
Yeah, the weather.
Yeah, so, the exhibitors and vendors had a great time and a really good meal. And then we have spring dance coming up next out there, April 20th. And the only other thing we're really looking at right now is we're gonna talk about a possible foot care clinic and see what the interest out there is for it. So, yeah, that's cool. Did I miss anything?
Nope,
Okay.
that was good. Thank you. Any questions otherwise? Okay, Councilor Perky,
Okay, I have a library board meeting, or I had a library board meeting last week. The audit report from Baker Tilly will be presented at our next meeting. They had a conflict of venues there, so they couldn't make it. NOFC grant update, we didn't get it. And that was for the lights in the air exchanger. The public library operating grant this year will be 22,101. After some pressure from municipalities, the province has announced an increase in the annual fund for the province of $6 million. It falls $20 million short of what we asked for the province-wide. And we're going to continue to lobby for more funding. And I noticed that in our correspondence, the Township of Perry is also pushing. They did a motion on that. So they're on board, and I think it's going to Phenom, not sure.
We sent it to Phenom.
Okay.
Yes, we circulated our letter,
Okay.
our resolution.
Also, so we're gonna continue to lobby for more funding because the libraries are running on a shoestring. Hydro has a grant available that we applied for, and we're hoping to apply that to the lighting. We'll know of our success or failure by the end of March, I think. 29th, I think, is when it's supposed to be out. Commonwealth Insurance has grant money called LEAF for libraries. And they give to libraries, so we'll be applying for that for lights as well. Provincial Seniors Grant, the deadline is March 28th for seniors programming and light lunch and socials. The discussion on transportation outcome is that we shouldn't get involved with that. It'll stretch our resources too thinly. It's not part of our capacity anyway. The Trillium Grant, the town of Powassan is applying, so the library can't. So the question was, one of the member municipalities do it, and I explained to them that we already applied for it, so we can't apply for that. So, but Chisholm wasn't applying for it this year, so they're gonna apply for the on behalf of the library. We're currently working on the 2024 budget, and it's proving to be a bit of a challenge. I suspect there will be a few drafts before we carve something out of that. 2024 sponsorship and advertising opportunities, that's this year. We're revamping it. So we have initiated a tiered sponsorship program with gold sponsorship at $500, silver $200, bronze $150, and key supporter at $50. So each level will of course have key advertisement opportunities tied to their logo and level of support. So we'll see how that's going. Friends of the Library announced that we have combined, or they have combined, a couple of GICs, and the balance should be good enough to help out the library in the coming year for some of the projects we have on the go. The musical instrument lending program is gaining traction after an interview with Rocco Frangioni from the Nugget. We're still looking for a variety of instruments. Raising Readers, partnering with voodoo coach Peter Goulet, who came out to read and was very well received by the kids and the parents. Also on that note, to continue our collaboration with the Voodoos, they will be back on March 7th with Raising Readers and for cooking and story time. And on the March break lineup, March 7th, Megan Coughlin, Bachelor of Education student from Nipissing University, will be handling the lineup of activities for the kids until Friday, March 15th at 4. The Jerry Giesler Fish Hatchery will still be in place through the March break, The eggs are mostly hatched, and we will find out soon what the release date and time at Love Lake will be. The Doug McKay Art Gallery will have a new display of whimsical art by Kimberly Rainville for the rest of March and April. Jillian brought our display back on Friday. It was well received, by the way. Most of the stuff that we had on display were paintings done by Mary Eastman's father. So they're historically accurate as well, so it's kind of neat. The strategic plan, we adopted the new strat plan with a couple of small amendments. It has been simplified and reduced to a more realistic document, but we've added supporting documents it's a different document to better understand where we're coming from. And our next meeting will be on March 18th at 6 p.m. And also during March break, there will be open skating at the Sportsplex, supported by the library, and the Voodoos will be out there to play against the kids. So they're getting on board and supporting the library, which I think is really good.
Do you know when that is, Steve? Sorry.
That would be,
I say the 12th. I don't know.
I had it written down.
Sorry to speak out of, I just.
Oh,
Oh,
wanna make
no,
sure we
that's
get that.
fine.
I think that's really neat.
Yeah, I think it is the 11th to 12th. I have it.
March 12th.
Okay, we'll see if we can
Is it
look that up.
March
and We'll
12th?
we'll get something posted on that.
Yeah.
I think that's really good. Thank you, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I can get you the exact date and time. Can't believe I didn't write it down.
Oh, that's okay, thank you, sorry.
Okay.
Any
Anyway.
questions for Steve? Libraries, busy spot.
It is. We're one of the busiest libraries in the whole province, I think, for public activities.
So, oops, Counselor Butler.
Not this time.
Okay. I have a Pines report. We met February 20th. We've got a program with Save On Energy for the Pines, and they received 11 new fridges. Unfortunately, dryers. A lot of the residents wanted dryers as well. They didn't qualify, but they were all supplied with drying racks, so environmentally positive. We received a financial report, did a monthly accounts and transaction report. They're setting up a new tenants committee for finance. And this was a brief meeting because the next one will be our year end or whatever meeting. So the next meeting will be on March 19th, so the day after your meeting. It was an East Home meeting, but it's been asked to defer it because there are negotiations as we speak, and that'll be this week and next week. And this is our negotiations with CUPE. And as well, at the next meeting on Thursday, we have a meeting with the Sturgeon Nipissing French River Advisory Group. And that's a group that looks at water levels on Lake Nipissing or the lack thereof. And so I will be at that meeting suggesting that there is no snow, there is no water, and we need a lot of help. So we'll see what happens there. It's in Sturgeon, which means the majority of people will be from the Lower French, which will make it quite interesting. And with that, if there are no other questions on the reports, we'll move on to adopting minutes. So it's number 3. Okay, Councillor Yam and Councillor Butler. So I'll read the resolution. It's number R 2024-051. Moved by Councillor Yam, seconded by Councillor Butler, that the minutes of the council meeting held February 20th, 2024 be adopted as published. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 staff reports. And we will start with the proposed town hall meeting. Now, what I want to explain before you've just received these on the weekend. And for the staff reports, if you want to read them and look at them, there are a number of options on all of the staff reports, and we'll go over them as we speak, but any comment you have to make, we'll make that next meeting, so 2 weeks from now, for the staff report. If there are things that you want to change, there are a couple of things that I noticed that I would like to see changed. And if anybody in the audience has any comments or questions on these staff reports, we'll go over them quickly, but forward your questions to the office or to us, and if you want to speak to it, we put you on the agenda for the next meeting in 2 weeks, so that we can hear what you have to say before we decide whether to adopt them as they are, or adopt them with changes, or defer them at that time. So we'll go to number 4 first, the proposed town hall meeting. And I'll let you take it.
Sure. Council all received a copy of the draft community survey that we finished up. I'll ask that you look that over and let us know if there's any changes that you would like to see by the next meeting. Our goal is to have it approved at the next council meeting for circulation, to put it out there. And the recommendations are, I know that the town hall meeting, we were talking about having it on July 17th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Just a few different location options. And I just needed some direction.
And so as you look through this, one was Heritage Park, one was back here at the community center, which is air conditioned on July 17th and pretty much bug free. The outdoor event, we won't be able to live stream. So any gems that we receive from the public, we might not be able to get them. Where here, we can live stream it, and we can make sure that we have all the information that the public wants us to get.
We also can't put chairs out at the outdoor event because it's just not safe.
There's a microphone that goes around to help the audience pick up.
Here, yeah.
We do have a PA system for this.
Yeah, so we could do that. So those are things, and we want to go to Commander, we want to have just one big one in the center. So those are all things that we're going to have to look at for the next meeting. And the next one was investigation results, compliant zoning uses of linked speech. And again, these are just a report, and again, if anybody wants to comment on it at the next meeting, most certainly contact the office. There are 2 recommendations right now. One of the earlier recommendations that we had that isn't on the staff one was guardrailing the entire area. The staff didn't include that, but that was a recommendation as well. So these are all the things that we could discuss, talk about at the next meeting, but it's not fair to you having not got this information beforehand or enough. And again, the general public may have more to add to that in the next 2 weeks. And it can be a written submission, or it can be, I'd like to speak. And the next one is staff report parking concerns along Birch Grove Drive. And we had more complaints this week.
Yes.
We had more issues on Birch Grove Drive where we spent an incredible amount of taxpayers' money, and it's been rutted this week from Dragon Fish Shack. So that will probably be part of our recommendations. Chris will pass around the pictures for those of you that haven't seen them. And also there was a garbage.
Well, it was not just garbage, it was human waste.
Human waste was in the parking lot, bags of it. black bags that wouldn't be going to our,
I won't circulate that.
that's, yeah. Yeah, you just
don't wanna see
imagine. So those are all issues, of course, and so that will come up when we look at recommendations, daytime parking, how we're gonna do it, 11 o'clock earlier, or do we leave it for 3-day parking? And we'll look at those recommendations as well. And again, anybody in the public, hopefully will comment in the next 2 weeks or be on the agenda. But it won't be an open forum. If you want to be on the agenda, you call 724-2411. 24, yeah, 20. And say, we'd like to be on the agenda. We would love to hear from you. And the last one, I'm gonna pass over to Chris. The only thing, we were all at the meeting when they discussed the blue boxes.
District of Prairie Sound Municipal Association meeting.
And I think the thing that we had to remember from that was the last thing the guy said is, after 2026, we don't know what they're gonna do. We have no idea. Well, 2026 is pretty soon, and the one point they may have made sense is if you opt out this time, you're opting back in 2026.
But you've lost control of where your facility will be.
So our recycling depot could be in North Bay.
That was circulated.
So when we look at this, that's the only thing I want to say. If we opt out, you may be hauling your recycling to North Bay, and if you don't do that, you're gonna throw it in the dump here in bags, and which will cause us no end of grief, or it's gonna be in a ditch someplace, which is even worse. So when we look at that, okay, I guess I'm leading the whatever, but I hope we look at opting in.
May I speak to it just for a moment?
Yes, please.
So we've sat in on numerous training sessions and we still don't have all the answers. So the non-eligible facilities include commercial, municipal facilities, places of worship, things like that. So it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then they also brought up Airbnbs may not be eligible, but we couldn't figure out how we would figure out who that was. So we're still in discussions with them. The whole province is in discussion with them. As far as the Township of Nipissing, when we went out to RFP and we got our contract for blue box pickup for the recycling with Canmore, we have it going until our cutoff date of October 31st, 2025. That is the last date that the province gave us to work with them to do this program for the transition. And then the transition period will be between November 1st and December 31st of 2025. And then they take it over anyway on January 1st, 2026, but we have no idea what that looks like yet. There's no funding models, there's no plan in place. The RFP for the collection agent for our Perry Sound district is still out. It doesn't close until the middle of March. So we really don't have a lot of information, but they've asked us for an indication on whether we're gonna opt in or opt out. So when I asked what our funding model would be, I was told we have to opt in or opt out first before they'll give us the funding model, which was kind of a backwards approach, but after researching some of what would happen if we opted out, some of the options are, if we opt in, they will work with us to lease the space from us where we are now. And I think that's best for our residents. Everyone's used to that. We can work with that model. If we opt out, they will not leave the facility where it is. They'll move it to a whole new facility, and we may be forced to go as far as North Bay for recycling, which will not work. We all know that.
Oh, because then we'd have to pay for trucking and stuff like that.
Well, I don't think our residents will do it, first of all. So I think my recommendation to council is that we indicate we will opt in so we can get that funding model. And we can go from there. They're not asking for a resolution. They're not asking for a firm commitment. They're just asking for which way we're looking at going. So I was going to report back that we're considering opting in so we can get our funding model.
From reading this, I get the feeling that they don't know what the model is. They don't.
There's a lot of confusion. So the checklist right now so I printed off the implementation checklist for the community, and I believe it's 77 pages long. And in here, it's still being updated and it's a working copy even for the checklist for them, because they update it regularly with changes. So I think it's such a large project for them to take on all the recycling for the entire province, and I don't think that was taken into consideration with the timeframes. And it's not a cookie cutter approach. And we're a depot, so it's completely different. Curbside's having their own issues right now, so. Anyway, it is as confusing as the report sounds.
So,
With that said,
that said,
still
look
no
at
more
it.
information than what we had before.
If you choose, you could come in and Chris would share the 78
Absolutely.
pages with you. But I find you'll be more confused when you're done reading, but that could just be my problem. So anyway, those are 4 of the things that will be on the agenda next time. The agenda is gonna be huge next time.
We also have our audit completed and our financial statements will be presented by our auditor at the next meeting.
So you might want to bring a snack.
That's why the draft capital forecast has been circulated for review for the next meeting as well. Then we can move forward with the budget after that.
So as we move on to number 8, appointing interim deputy clerk. Right now, our friends in Chisholm have had some issues because their clerk got sick. And then they couldn't have meetings because we cannot have a meeting without a clerk. So what we're going to do tonight is appoint an interim deputy clerk so that should anything befall Chris, and I hope nothing does,
Please no.
then we're covered and we can continue to go on, move forward as a municipality. So I need a mover into secondary. Okay, we'll go with Councilor Yam and Councilor Foot.
And we'll be for the kid.
Right. And I know that was in your package that much. We got through. So it's R 2024-052, moved by Councilor Yam, seconded by Councilor Foot, that we pass bylaw number 2024-14, being a bylaw to appoint an interim deputy clerk for the Township of Nipissing, read a first, second, and third time, and pass this 5th day of March 2024. All in favor? Carried. Yes. Should I say congratulations, Kim?
Thank you.
You are so welcome. Next, correspondence, and Chris has already alluded to it. The first thing, resolution from the Township of Perry regarding a request to the province to amend the blue box regulation for eligible sources. For example, they've already said we have 4 churches, we only have 2. So they've got things mixed up. And stores, the 2 stores here aren't eligible. Your home is, but your store isn't eligible. Churches aren't, municipal facilities aren't, which is ridiculous. So I would suggest we may want to support this, saying we have concerns with the recycling. And if that's the case, we would put that on the next agenda. And number 2, resolution from the municipality of East Ferris regarding Bell Universal Broadband funding. I know anybody that's been on the road, the fall, the winter, you've seen Bell out there, we're working through ACON. And before that, Asper, whatever, that supposedly cut all the lines out. We're seeing the results through Bell, and East Ferris would like us to support more local, but we've been told that it will go local. Even at our meeting that we were at, it said when the main lines go through and then they find the pockets that they cannot reach, then they're gonna go local. Then it will go to, Net Spectrum and the smaller groups. But right now, this is a huge negotiated contract with Bell. I would suggest we don't support this because it's already done. They've got the wire out there, they've got the copper out there. Nothing's gonna change now until they get to the end. And in our area, people on islands will not have anything. So that's where they're gonna go to Net Spectrum and these smaller groups. So I would suggest we hold off if that's all right.
Mhm.
I don't think we can break a negotiated contract from the federal government. More power to us. Next one, EMS. Shelley's told us a lot about the EMS. And I appreciate what she said, so this becomes an information item. But if there's anything you need to know, it's there. The other information item, January 16th, Golden Sunshine Municipal Nonprofit Housing Corporation. I just call it the Pines because it's shorter. I gave you that one 2 weeks ago. So that's an info item. Media release on Northern Ontario Women's Caucus, the Power of One Voice in Politics. Interesting reading, Mayor Michelle Boileau of the City of Timmins and the Township of Horn-Payne. I'd suggest that we continue with our collective voice and avoid this for now. So collectively as townships, we'll do this, if that's all right. And finally, we come to Lincoln, and this is what we've already done, but.
Yes, it was Lincoln, not Perry, sorry.
Right, yeah, no, I knew what you're saying. So Lincoln, and we've already supported this.
Mhm.
We've sent it to Phenom, and evidently Lincoln didn't read ours. So now, hopefully they'll all get together, and we did suggest exactly the same thing that they're saying here.
Did we send it to Chisholm?
Yes.
Okay, 'cause-
I sent it to the library, sent it to Chisholm and to Boston in a later
Okay.
email.
all right.
So they should have that as well. So if there are no other questions on correspondence, we will pick up the request to amend the blue box regulation. I mean, all we can do is try on things like this and hopefully we'll have some success. Same with funding the library. It's great that we got an increase, but far short of what we needed, you know. So I need a mover and a seconder. Thank you, gentlemen. So Councillor Butler and Councillor Kirky. So this is resolution number 2024-053, moved by Councillor Butler, seconded by Councillor Kirky, that we accept the correspondence as presented. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Oh, yeah, good work, guys. See, they dropped that on you again. Draft,
Saw it right off.
yeah. Let's see, oh, it's not bad then. So the next is a statement of accounts, February and March. Look at it and see if there's anything. I went over it, but there might be something Keen or I may see.
The policing, is that just January policing? Is that fee?
Mhm.
Okay.
At 25,000, yeah,
Good deal, eh?
Eh?
I said, good deal.
25,816, multiply that by 12.
Every time I see it, it just, I don't know, anyway.
That's what we're paying for policing. So,
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, it's actually, sorry to interrupt, it's actually a credit and then our fee actually went up this year. Sorry, I
wasn't gonna
because-
say that.
I know,
okay,
because next month when you see it and it's a higher fee, I don't want you to say, why did last month? So we actually had a credit for something that's applied to it as well,
It's
so
only a few $100s.
it's
for
a
the
few
credit.
$100 difference,
Well,
so,
credits will always be hundreds and
Yes,
yeah.
fees will always be
that's
thousands.
right. It will never
Okay.
balance out.
thank you, interim deputy.
Yeah, I'm
clerk.
sorry, but next month when I do the accounts, I don't want you to say, why was there discrepancy, so.
Hucking that recommendation back, okay.
Fair
good.
enough.
Anything else? And for Family Day, we saved the fireworks, right, chief?
Yep.
Yep. So the people that wanted it early they're gonna have to stay up till 10 o'clock on Canada Day and see them then.
Unfortunately,
Okay, so a mover and a seconder to accept the account. Well, thank you. Counselor. So it's number R 2024-054. Moved by Counselor Yam, second by Counselor Foot, that statement of accounts dated February 29th and March 2nd, 2024, totaling $151,525.16 be approved. All in favor? Carried. Okay, and again, tonight, their reports, they're all gonna come back in a longer version in 2 weeks. So we're to the confirming bylaw, so mover and seconder. Okay. Counselor Kirkie and Counselor Foot, because we can go across on this one. So it's number R 2024-055, moved by Counselor Kirkie, seconded by Counselor Foot, that we pass bylaw number 2024-15, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on March 5th, 2024, read the first, second, and third time, and pass this 5th day of March 2024. All in favor? Carried. And last on the agenda, adjournment with the warning that you might want to have a nap or bring a lunch next 2 weeks from now. So I need a mover and a seconder, Counselor Yam and Counselor Buck. Number R 2024-056, moved by Counselor Yam, seconded by Counselor Butler, that the meeting be adjourned at 7:11 PM. Next regular meeting to be held March 19th, 2024. All in favor? Carried. Thank you all for coming. Sorry we couldn't make this more exciting, but